You are listening to the Bright Life Podcast, all about ways to stay inspired, chase your dreams, and find more gratitude in the highs and lows of the journey. I'm your host, Jessica Johnson. I'm a business owner, a part-time digital nomad, a self-growth junkie, a believer in other big-hearted women, and am all about sharing tips, tricks, lessons learned, and encouragement so we can all live our biggest, brightest lives. You ready? Let's do this. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so today is a spicy little episode. This is going to help you get through that scary, gnarly thing that you're thinking about that's in the back of your mind, or that you always have the hardest time actually getting out there and getting through. So if you have something you've been procrastinating on, if you have something that feels so scary to you and you don't even know why anymore, but it feels like you just can't possibly go do it, this little trick is going to help. I've used this many times. I recently thought about it again the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, anyone who hasn't heard about this thing, it's so subtle, but I hope that it can really help you and reach the right person today. All right, so get ready, get your notepad going, because here is what you're going to do. Begin with the end in mind. What I want you to do is to consider how long whatever you're dreading will take, whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, 3 hours, 1 day, and then picture what you'll be doing after. So, for example, maybe you have been wanting to go on a Facebook Live to share about something important to you, about your products, your services, whatever it may be, and you're just so scared. You're like, I don't know who's going to tune in. It's going to be so embarrassing. What will people think? What if they leave a mean comment? Okay, so go ahead, think about that thing. It'll probably take you an hour, right? What are you going to be doing later today after that hour's passed? Are you going to be going and getting a coffee to congratulate yourself? Are you going to be taking a bath? Are you going to be calling your girlfriend and saying, I did it? How was it? Whatever you're going to be doing, fast forward to that and remember that in only an hour, that thing is going to be a memory then. And you'll be looking back at yourself in an hour from now, getting that coffee, being so proud of yourself, knowing you did it, right? Like maybe for you, it's some kind of class that you want to take. My sister's doing this aerial yoga class just for something fun. So maybe it's something like that, or a cooking class, or something that's really true to a passion that you really want to go for in life, like screenwriting or something. And you're scared, right? Because you don't want to get up on stage or have to do this thing that you could fail at, but you know it's at the end of the week and you can't stop thinking about it. No problem. What you're going to do is you're going to begin with the end in mind. So you're going to fast forward to, let's say, Friday night this week. What are you going to be doing? Are you going to be out with your partner? Are you going to be getting dinner, talking about this thing you did? Fast forward to that. And when you're about to walk into that class, just think, by the end of this week, this will not even be a thing. By the end of this hour, this will not even be a thing. And just let that version of you carry you through the experience, right? Like maybe it's hitting publish on a paper, maybe it's sending something in, maybe it's having to ask for a raise. It's okay. By this time next week, it'll be done. It'll be done, and no matter what, you will handle the outcome. Remember, I always like to say it's either a great experience or it's a good story, right? Like it'll be something you can laugh about or look back on one day with a lot of wisdom and perspective, or it'll be fine. It'll be nothing. So for me, this has really, really helped. Remembering it will just be a distant memory then, and almost looking at the experience through that vantage point and knowing that whatever discomfort occurs in this next day, week, hour, I can handle it because I will be on the other side and I will be looking at it through that lens and I will have survived. A lot of people will also say even like, will you worry about this in 5 years? And if not, don't worry about it now. But just remembering that like there is a version of you that will have already been through this experience and will have survived and will have been so glad they went through it and will either have an amazing, hilarious, fun story to tell, or they'll have a great outcome, right? Like, and it's a good story because of that. I think the other thing to lock into with this is how will that version of you feel then? Is she going to feel proud? Is she going to feel so happy? Is she going to feel more confident, unstoppable, fearless? And almost just locking into that, because I think anytime you're really fearing something, that means that you are paying so much attention to the more negative emotions, right? Like you're thinking about what can go wrong, you're thinking about any fears you have, any judgments you have, you're worried from that instinctive ancient place of making sure you're protected because you're part of the circle, right? And so you're starting to let your brain go down that pattern of all of those more negative associations of what can go wrong. So by thinking about how you're going to feel after, you steer your brain back towards what can go right. And even if it doesn't go right, you relax into the possibility that you will have survived anyway, right? So this is such a little thing, but I have used this for I did the sprint triathlon once, and I was so nervous. I probably had undertrained significantly. And I just remember thinking okay, I am very nervous. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even finish the run, finish the swim, how it's going to go. But I know by this time tonight, I was actually going to be getting on a plane to Vegas for later that night to celebrate a friend's birthday party. So I was like, that it'll literally be a done thing by then. And even during the sprint triathlon, I did gulp a bunch of water. I don't remember much of the run or the bike ride, but I'm sure it was hard because I didn't train enough. But by the end of the day, I was done. And I did have a funny story, and I do look back on it being grateful for that experience, right? And I would do this a lot because I started to do this practice, which you could even try if you want to face your fears. But every single month, I would do one new thing, something I'd never done before that was a little bit scary. And what it did is it really trained me to be able to befriend fear and to almost look at it from that perspective of course, this is a little scary, but it's the thing I'm doing this month. And by the end of the night, by the end of the week, I'm going to be done with this thing. And I'll be able to say, now I've kayaked, now I have rock climbed, now I've paddleboarded, now I've done, whatever it may be. And once I sat at a bar alone just to see what would happen and how it would feel to be out, alone when I was much younger. That felt a little more nerve-wracking to me. So almost just that perspective of I would use this over and over again. I'm scared right now, kind of that acceptance, but by the end of this, begin with the end in mind, by the end of this hour, by the end of this night or this week, I'll be done. I'll have this amazing experience in my life storybook of experiences and memories. And I'll either have a really, really great experience or have a really funny story to tell. And sometimes they were, and that's okay too, right? I've almost passed out in Bikram yoga classes before. I mean, they were not always great experiences, but I'm so grateful for them. And I always survived. And partly it was because I always remembered that at the end, I would be fine. And I would be so proud of myself for going through with it. And I truly would have unlocked another level of fearlessness within myself where I would just start to learn that fear was something that comes and then it goes. And you learn your patterns and you learn that you will always survive and you will always get through it. And so that's just my wish for you, that you just remember how unstoppable you are. That the fear, it can come and it's not a sign that you shouldn't proceed, but rather just it's trying to keep you safe. So look at it lovingly. Make sure it's coming from a genuine place, but don't let it stop you if it's not truly a warning signal and it's just instead nerves, right? Because you will get through it. And this little trick I hope really helps you. Just begin with the end in mind. Think about what you'll be doing a little bit of time from now. Think about how proud you'll feel for yourself. Think about where you'll be, who you'll be telling the story to, and just let that carry this version of you that's so nervous in this moment through. And lean on that girl, because she can get through it, and she will, and she is unstoppable, and she may feel the fear, but she can become fearless with this little trick. And I just would love to hear if this helps you. All right, so go out there, go get it, and then definitely message me and tell me what you use this for. I'd love to hear how it helps and what experience you conquer. If this episode resonated with you, I have something you are going to love. As you may know, part of what helps me create my own version of my brightest life is copywriting and content marketing. Building a content business helped me replace and surpass my corporate income, to see the world while working from anywhere, and to choose clients that light me up every single day. If you're at all curious about doing the same, I have broken it down for you in a copywriting starter kit, all the beginning steps you need to build your own profitable freelance business. I will link it in the show notes, so definitely check it out if you're interested. Thank you so much for being here, and I will chat with you next Thursday.